Hello, Teaquilters. Today is Wednesday, March 17th, 2023. It is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're here for live chat today. I don't have a topic, and I'll just wait for some people to come in. Matter of fact, I just made this chat less than 30 minutes ago, so we'll see how many people have received notifications. Hey, Judy Freely. She's saying hi, everybody. It's been a good week so far. She said, hope it's been a good week for you all so far. So that's really nice. So let me. Okay. Chat has been moved. I'm trying to get into chat, guys. It kicked me out, and now it's telling me that live chat has been moved. And Phyllis G is here saying hi, T, and everyone. Donnell Stevens, hey, 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 Miss T. Hope everyone is doing great today. Sheila Willis saying good evening, T, and everyone. Good to be back. So Yarn Arm, Sheila says hi, T, and everyone, waving. And Remo JS saying good evening, Miss T and Quilters. Thumbs up, everyone. Show your love and support. Thank you, Miss Remo. Appreciate that. Welcome to the chat. Guess who Nancy is back? Constant Clagy, saying good evening, everyone. Hey, Constance, I think you're new. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you commenting. Wash Your Hands is here saying hi, T, and everyone. This wonderful weather has made me in a great mood, so that's awesome. Clovis Gardner saying good evening, all. Wash Your Hands, reminding people to hit the thumbs up. Helen Finaldi's here saying hello, everyone. From South California, I think. Nikki B saying hello, Miss T and all. Melina Montoya saying hi, T and everyone. Constance Go Yes, a newbie. So thank you for coming into the chat. I appreciate that. Rochelle Sear saying hello, everyone. My thumbs up. Probably already been given. So thank you, Rochelle. Becky Bramlett. Here I am again, crocheting and watching you live. Hello, everybody. So yes. Helen's reminding people to hit the thumbs up. Jason Lewis is here saying good evening, Miss T and all T Quilters. Hope everyone is having a great week. T Roberts is here saying evening all. Just finished a ruler quilting class, so that's cool. Melody Kiefer, good evening, T and everyone. Joe Carmel is here saying hey, Miss T and everyone, also waving. So, I don't know how many people are in here, 34, 35, something like that. Yeah, I didn't prepare anything for today. I do have a couple things I can talk about, show you, and then I can also press my pieces from Saturday that I sewn. I have not been back into this room. I have not been feeling the greatest the last 3 days, so I have just been in my bed resting. I'm like, maybe my body needs to rest. So I got up yesterday, did a little bit, got tired, went back and laid down, and then I also did the same thing today. About 6 o'clock is when I started to feel a little bit better today. And I decided to go ahead and do the chat since it was only going to be an hour. And if I have to get off because I'm not feeling well, then I'll just get off if I get tired. And I think I have a lot of sinus issues, and I'm wondering if it's draining into my stomach because I'm having stomach pain on my left side. So it's not any appendix or anything serious. I just have not been feeling good. And then, like I said, having sinus issues. And whenever I'm taking a lot of medications, or any medications, when I'm not used to taking medications on a regular, I take normally just Flonase on a daily. When I have to start adding in other medications, it just drains me, make me tired. And so if my body is saying it wants to sleep, then I just go ahead and let it sleep. But I haven't had a lot of, other than just regular nose blow, white mucus, I haven't had a lot of sinus drainage, which is weird. And I'm just wondering if it's draining into my stomach or something. So, yeah. But I'm feeling much better today than I have been the last 3 days. So I decided to come on in here. Let me see who else has come in commenting. Remo's got a whole lot to say, but I'm just going to read part of it. She says, ask a question that she may be able to answer. She is the best. So Remo is one of my loyal supporters, and so sometimes I don't want to read everything that she's saying because I'm the one reading stuff about me. But anytime you have any quilt related questions, most times you don't have to be on topic. It just depends on if I'm doing a presentation during one of my live chats. Then yes, probably keep them on topic that day. But for the most part, you can ask me any questions that you have. If you're stuck on trying to do something and don't know what to use or what tool to get or something like that, I'm always open to questions like that. For new people that are here, I have a whole video library playlist on my YouTube channel. I have done a whole lot of different blocks, different quilts. I do a lot with AccuQuilt. I'm an affiliate for AccuQuilt, which means I'm not an employee of AccuQuilt. But anytime I do videos or give people a link to go to their website, I get a kickback of your sale that I use to provide more videos and or buy products so I can use in upcoming videos. So if you ever purchase from AccuQuilt, please come to any of my videos, look in the description box and follow my link to AccuQuilt site. You can still use all of your coupons, still get all of your discount. Use your reward points. It just gives me a kickback as the person that referred you to their channel anytime you order. Judy Hebert is here saying hi from Georgia. Sue GSD, good evening all Teaquilters. The rain is finally stopped. Good evening to all Teaquilters. The rain is finally stopped. And she says 405 days until the greatest retreat ever. And that's the next thing starting, I guess, in June, I'll be working on. So if you were one of those people that were on the list already, I don't know how many vacant spots I have. Get prepared to start sending in funds starting in July. I'm going to start collecting. I have never gotten back final information from the retreat center. I think I mentioned that Saturday. I just want to keep mentioning it in case somebody is missing a video. I find this very strange that you don't know a year out what your fee is for the next year, and we used to know 10 years out. So it's kind of weird. What COVID has affected, turnover in staff has affected as well. So very strange. Maddie Barnum is here saying hi to you and everyone. Cynthia Field is saying thumbs up. Oh, I will. I've been just chilling. I didn't even know if I was going to come live today, y'all. So I have been in bed since Monday. Nikki saying she had a stomach ache today too. I feel much better now. For some reason, I had gotten up earlier today, did a little work, and just got tired. And I think that's just from medication. So I went and laid down a little bit, and then I got up a little bit before 6, and I was walking around, and I go, you know what? My stomach actually feels a whole lot better now. So I've been not eating a whole lot because my stomach hurts. So I've been mostly just doing fruit and protein, yogurt shakes to get some protein. Yeah, and then today was a good day, actually. I should have known earlier when I was craving bacon. I went and made like 3 pieces of bacon that I cooked, and I ate that today. That was really the first time that I had really eaten solid foods. I've been on liquid foods or um, very soft foods like vegetables, fruits, stuff like that that's easy to digest. Meats are harder to digest, so I didn't want anything that was going to stay in my system long. We have your back if you need to sign off. We will understand. That's Remo. Yep, I know it. Cynthia Shade saying good evening to all Teaquilters. Hope you feel better soon. I will. Yes, get rest. Listen to your body. That's exactly what I did. I haven't done a darn thing since, and I feel so bad because I got a retreat and I got 2 challenge quilts that I need to finish. I haven't even thought about what I'm taking and packing. And, you know, it just might be one of those things where I just show up. You know, sometimes that's just what it is. So you just show up. And I coordinate the place. And what else did I coordinate? Meals or communication. The place, communication. And I can't remember if I'm assigned something else or not. I hope not. Because I probably don't have it done. I'm thinking that I've been assigned things to do in the previous years, that this year was the year that I didn't have to do anything. I'm just hoping I don't have to do something like entertainment or something like that. So, Blackbird's here saying hello to you in the chat. I hope you feel better. Thank you. Maddie Barnum says she's been out for knee surgery, so hopefully it's working for you. Clovis Gardner says, I'm getting over a sinus infection on medication now, feel better soon. So yeah, so can understand. And I used to have a lot more sinus infections when I was working, so I don't get them as often. I'm supposed to take Flonase every day, and sometimes I forget to take it, and then I forget because I'm in the house and I don't go outside. And then I might go out into the yard or go to my mom's house and just come straight back. And then I have other allergies that are at her house. 2 of my brothers smoke, and it's like it's the first thing I smell. And so, you know, you kind of forget to take your medicine every day when you're in the house every day. And so, yeah, I think that's part of my problem, is that I need to remember to take Flonase every day. Hey, Bonita Nance. Saying hey, Miss T and everyone. June says, hi, everyone, Miss T. I'm on TV. So thank you, June. So she won't be commenting on the television. I understand, because I do like watching YouTube on my television. Then I hate when it says, check the description box for more information about blah, blah, blah. I'm like, put it on the screen. Because I'm on my television. And I do know from an editing point of view that you know, it's a lot more work to do that. So, but yeah, I do understand when you're on television, you can't comment as much. Miss T, have you ever used Sew Tights for loading quilts on your long arm? I just bought Sew Tights, and Jason was the one that informed me that they had them for the long arm. I did sit down and talk with the lady in depth about them, and I have been thinking about getting them to purchase. The system that I use is so much cheaper. Do you have a metal frame, Joe Carmel? And the only difference in Sew Tight and what I do now is that I do use leader grips on my backing. They use Sew Tights for the for both of them. And I think if you only use Sew Tights on the top, because they're expensive, if you use Sew Tights on the top, then you could use, what do I use? I use leader grips. I'm almost thinking that Sew Tights can be so expensive especially if it's getting longer. I guess Joe is using a shorter frame. But I have not used it. I have talked with them when I went to the quilt show in Paducah, Kentucky, and I fully understand. I think it's great. I think it's just their product is very pricey when you're going to need it to go down a system, because if you're going to use Sew Tights, you're going to have to use them just like you would pins. You can't put one, even if they're telling you that you can, technically you shouldn't be putting one and then leaving like a 3-inch gap. They should be in rows like your pins were in rows. And so I think by the time you pay for what you need for Sew Tights, that you could have bought the leader grip system for a lot cheaper. That's just my opinion. If anybody has used it, please let me know what your opinion is, and then that'll also help Joe. So thank you, Joe, for that question. Rochelle says, Miss T, how was your Mother's Day? Hope you feel better. I had a quiet Mother's Day in a sense. I was supposed to, on Mother's Day, we had postponed it until this Sunday. So we haven't, my family hasn't met as for Mother's Day, but I had seen my mother a week before Mother's Day, knowing that other stuff was happening. So my mom had already had her Mother's Day gift from me. So she was taken care of. My mom was so busy on Mother's Day with it being Sunday, and then also I had my niece who was graduating from UMSL. And so she had that. So that's why we didn't have family dinner. We ended up rescheduling it for this Sunday coming up. And I was supposed to go to that, and then our area got thunderstorm warnings, and it looked really bad for the whole time of the graduation. My daughter wanted to go as well. That's her cousin. And they literally all grew up together. And so I just wanted my daughter to go, so I ended up babysitting Jersey so we wouldn't have to worry about crowds and rain and thunderstorm and lightning. It was a pretty weird 2 days, Saturday and Sunday here. So I ended up babysitting, so I was basically home. I made a cake that I sent with my daughter to distribute to various family members. And after that, I stayed at home. I did make the pound cake. I did not even make the icing. I was like, I'm done. But I watched little Jersey, and she was just adore. I just adore watching her. She is too funny. She's high maintenance, just like her mama. Carla Ford's here saying good evening, T and everyone. Hey, Carla. Grapes and apples are good for stomach ache. They have, I don't know what that is, pectin. Grapes and apples. I think I might have grapes. I had some apples. I've had them for a bit, and I think they might be too soft. I might end up cooking them apples. I had some Granny Smith apples. I might just make a pie or something. So my bacon makes everything better. That's so right. I don't even know where that craving came from, out of days of not even wanting food, and just, I mean, it'll be 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's like I haven't put anything in but water, and it's like, girl, you gotta eat something. I got enough on my body to sustain me for a while, but it was like I had to tell myself. I never felt the need to go get food. I just had to tell myself you needed to go get something. Janet Mackerel saying hello to all. Sorry you're feeling ill, Miss T. I actually feel good right now. I'm just the effects of medication. I've never felt this good. I normally get up and I have about 15-20 minutes where I can do something, and then I'm back into bed. So I'm actually feeling really good. I've been up since 6:30 when I scheduled the live. So I'm feeling really good right now. Remo says, thank you for the prayers. My dad will start dialysis next week. The other option was hospice. Oh my gosh. So that's good that he's taking treatments. You know, we sometimes have to let them make their own decisions and stuff. So Judy says, was saying that she loved Miss Vivian's studio tour, that she loved it, so that was nice. Donnell says, too funny, you said put it on the screen And my bird yelled out, yeah, laughing out loud, right? I'm behind in the chats as I'm always am. Oh, so Joe does have a metal frame, yes. So then, and Jason says they are very pricey. And I know that I can order them from my supplier and see if they can be a little bit cheaper, but they are, it's an expensive thing to add those add those to your long arm system for quilting. I think you do better with Jason says he's thinking about getting zippered leaders. Zippered leaders is to be used when you're one of those type of people that you got a quilt on your frame and then something else comes up and then you need to quilt another quilt. And so what you do is you zip off those leaders, and then you zip on your new leader so you can add your new quilt, and or zipper leaders will allow you to baste your quilt onto the frame if you're using pins or whatever off the frame. However, I have zipper leaders and I have even a second set so that I can zip my leaders on and off. And I'm going to be honest, and since 2016 I've had my machine, I've never used them once. Not a one time. So I've never unzipped those things. And Judy says she was curious about the zippers too. I use either pins or the long magnets, about 18 inches from Harbor Freight. That's true. The thing is, you got to get your backing onto your frame. And that's where I didn't say that. I float my quilt top. You can only use the metal things. I would only feel comfortable using them because you're going to be rolling that thing and I don't want them to move. So I only use the metal on my belly bar, and I do buy those from Harbor Freight, and they are a lot cheaper for floating your quilt top. However, you do still have to have a method for getting your quilt onto your leader, your backing onto your leader, and that's where I use leader grips. They're something that you stick into your leader, and then you use, it's a rod that you stick into your leader, and then you use it to snap down. Now there's another one that's a red company called Snappers. I personally don't like those. I had a friend that had those and they twisted and turned. My leader grips have never twisted on me. So, and I've been using them almost like the whole time I've had my machine, maybe 1 year less. So I do use the, on my belly bar to hold my quilt top and batting in place. I do use their tool magnets that you would use in your garage to put all of your tools, your screwdrivers, your wrenches on, so that you can keep them out and in the open. That's what they're used for, and they're very cheap, less than $5 each. And if you get them on sale, I think I got mine for about $1 or $2 each. And I bought maybe 6 or 7 of them was enough to go down my whole frame, so I just bought enough to do that. I mostly use 5 at the most, 3 to 5. And Judy says that she used the red snappers on her backing and float her batting and top. I use magnetic bars to hold my top to the belly bar, yes. And I just feel like, also, I'm blocking the name of them things right now. Oh my God, I got them in here somewhere, I don't know. But those things are so little that I feel like you're gonna lose them. Oh my goodness. But just go with leader grips. If you want to buy red snappers, you can do that. If you want to, and then go to Harbor Freight and get the bars, the tool magnets to hold your tools on, buy those instead. So that's what I would do. Hi, Teresa McCormick. She's saying good evening, Miss T and all. Does that include honorary family members? I'll be looking for my piece in the mail, laughing out loud. That's Bonita talking about that cake. Thank you. I'll stay with my current system. That's Joe Cormel. Kevin saying evening all. And Miss T, he's saying claps for T. He know I've been not feeling well, but I'm feeling a little bit better today. Sue says she can't stand the red snappers either. I thought they were a great thing because that was the first one that I came across. It was at a local quilt show. And my friend bought them, and we installed them, made sure everything was right. And then they worked fine for like the first month or so between both of us using her long arm at the time. This was before I bought my long arm system. And, I went over there one time, and the thing was all like, even rolled up on the bar. Her leaders rolled up on the take-up bar. You could see that they were just all cocked and stuff. And but when you loaded the quilt onto them, they straightened back up, and I couldn't understand that. And then at the time, they screwed together, and then they would unscrew, and then you're trying to re-screw it back while it's inside the leader, because most of the time you don't have room to get this whole long stick out of the leader at this point. And of course it unscrewed in the middle. So yeah, it was just something else. That's all I can say. I have not had any issues with the way that my leader grips are put together, and they just use some kind of black tape, something, and then you shrink it like a shrink wrap tape or something. But I've never had those things move, and they're just doing fine. And I've been using them since 2017 at least. So I haven't had any issues with them. And I do like that you can, even, I probably red snappers too, but eventually putting leader grips on and off, eventually a year or two, depends on how many quilts you're doing, they're going to stretch out. And so I keep my old stretched out set for when I'm doing minky backings, and then I keep my new set to just do cottons, and I find they last a lot longer. So if I'm doing anything flannel or minky, then I go ahead and use the other leader grips, and I got them marked so I know which ones to use. So that's another tip. So tights, thank you, Joe Carmel. Because I'm calling them these things. I do like so tights for handwork. I don't see how they're going to benefit you financially over other things that you can do on a long arm without costing you more money than some other things. I guess that's all I'm saying. And Joe Carmel says she's going to try leader grips. Yes, and I think you will love that. I have never regretted getting leader grips. Like I said, the only thing, if you ever do minky backs, the first time you may not notice a difference, but your backing, once you put on a leader, on a minky back, it's going to stretch your leader grips out. And so you might want to buy a second set. You can always buy your leader grip set as a pack for whatever size you need for your length of frame. And then buy the side grips as well. I also use leader grip side grips. And then I would recommend buying a second set of grips, and then use your one set of grips as long as you can and need to. And then when you put that minky on there, use your old ones, and then, as you know, mark them at that point, and then pull out your new ones when you go and quilt the next quilt once you've done minky, because you're not going to want to use the same grips. They do stretch out. For some reason, my screen jumped. I don't know. I think I'm back where I was. Helena Carter's here saying, hey T and all quilters. Jackie Jones, good evening Miss T and quilters. Shaquita Pearson saying, hey T and T quilters, headed to work, listening on my way. So drive safe, girl. Have a good evening at work. Robin Boyd saying hello, Miss T and everyone. Darcy saying hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I was at my son's tennis match. Dee Dee Henson here from Michigan. Hey, Dee Dee. Judy says, oh, she's talking to Vivian, so I'm going to leave that one. Darcy, whether you are early or late, make sure you give T your thumbs up. Thank you, Darcy, for popping in. I know I didn't schedule this live chat early today, so I know you would have been here earlier. Sorry about that. Sue says, at some point in the future, could you do a video on leader grips, please? I will. I think I've shown like how I load on one of my Longhorn videos, but I'll do one that's just loading. I can do that just to show you how I load. It's where my machine is and the stuff I have. It's kind of an awkward situation for recording. You can't see up. I tried recording it once before and it just didn't show details. And it's because of me not having a lot of space in my room that I can pull the camera back, and then also having the capability then of zooming in when I need to. It's a lot of work to record that, but I'll try again. I know I tried it before and I didn't like the video, so I never uploaded it, but I will show you how I put them on, and maybe what I'll do is just do more close-ups and forget the wide angles, because what you want to see is my hands doing the work anyway. So Rhonda Barlow is here saying hey T and everyone, my thumb is up. Thank you. So yeah, so what was I wanting to talk about? I did sit down. I don't even know if I know I don't. I don't even have chandelier spelled correct, so I'm gonna put my finger over that. But I did sit down and make the border for my Crown Royal quilt, and that white border in there is actually going to be some grunge gold, if I can find some here, if I got it. If not, I'll figure out something else. I'm sure I've got some gold grunge here because I've been buying grunge whenever I see it at reasonable prices. Just a matter of finding it. So I've decided I'm going to put a 1-inch gold border and then a 2-inch grunge purple border, which is the same fabric I'm using in the blocks. And then I'm going to put this border, so that's border number 3, and then the final border, because this stuff frays and I don't want it anywhere near the outside edge of my quilt top, especially with points. So I'm going to put a 4-inch grunge purple border back on the outside. I'm just using a little bit accent of the gold to match the wording in the Crown Royal pieces of the block, but I just didn't want gold to take over the quilt, so it'll just be a very little gold. So I sat down, and that's what I did today in about 15 minutes on electric quilt. So I just wanted to make sure I get this done. I had already had my block, the inside done. I just had to figure out my borders, and then this helps to let me know how many of these pieces I need. I think I need to make 8 more. I had 85 blocks, but I got 80 pieces, and I need 88. So I need to make 8 more chisel units with the half square triangles on top, and then I can start getting these. So now I know how many of these I can put into rows, and everything should work out just fine. We shall see. And hopefully EQ is not steering me wrong, right? And Sue says, I understand about tight spaces in quilt room. Yeah. Joe Carmel saying she loved it. The layout for this quilt. It's going to be beautiful when finished. That's bonita. I'm hoping. Helen says, it seems like no matter what size our spaces are, we always have it full to capacity. Exactly. And I've noticed that. And that's why I'm in the process of talking about building a shed, right? I've been having issues getting information from my planning committee in my community. They have to approve the way it's going to be bolted to the ground, be it via concrete pad or be it something straight into the ground. Now, I have a shed out there that's not on a concrete pad, but for some reason, we're having difficulties with that. So that's the stall on that. We're trying to figure that out. And then concrete, you have to like book it months out almost, especially in your summer months when they're doing all the construction. So it's going to be a problem if I have to actually put in a concrete pad. So I don't know. I have no idea. But I sure hope that I don't fill that to capacity. My goal for that is to have it where all the African fabric goes. I might even do my African hauls there, so when it gets delivered, I'm just taking it straight into the shed and then do the hauls in there for the African print fabrics, and then I can just go ahead and cut. I'll have my die cutting set up so that I can do it in there, and then I'll have, the point is to have shelves so that I can use them for sorting my various kits that I'm going to be sorting, and then a long table so that I can cut when people place orders for the stuff. Once I do the hauls, I've got more space to spread out, and then I can cut people's stuff, and then I can lay them again on these sorting shelves and just have some temporary tags with people names on them. So that's why I'm trying to get this set up, because what I have now is just one flat surface, be it my long arm, my ironing board, my big board, and then my dining room table. And then I fill all of those up and I have nowhere else to go. So I'm going to be building shelving units. And it doesn't, none of this has to be super fancy. It just needs to be functional. Right now, I don't have anywhere in my house that's to the point where if I put this stuff out, I can't use my long arm. I can't use my big board. So that was the reason behind the shed, trying to spread out my African prints. And I got them all boxed up, ready to go into the shed. And I think my shed's going to be delayed because of my city. Okay. So, hold on. Dee Dee says, oh, she's talking to Quilt by Carmel. Teresa is saying, I love your sense of color. Miss T is consistently fabulous. Thank you for sharing with us. You're welcome. Thank you. Maddie says, I love that pattern. It's pretty. Thank you. I clean, organize, and then refill my space. That's Roberta B. Yep. Hey, Stephanie, girl, I've been asking people about you. How have you been? Because I just asked about you within the last 10 days or something, asking if anybody had heard from you. I've been missing you. Just wanted to make sure you were okay. She's just saying hey to everybody. Don Cunningham saying hello everyone. Was on the phone with friend running late. Judy says Crown Royal Quilt understand placement of border freight factor. I picture it with points to edge to stress. And what it does for me when if I put the points on the edge and just leave them there, you definitely have to make sure everything is squared up as you're quilting it. Draw up is going to take some kind of effect into that. And so I'm also trying to prevent that. So that's a good point, Judy. Yeah, and a lot of people do that because I get quilts that I quilt for other people. And here and there, they're just going to lose a point here or there, especially if your quilting isn't your piecing isn't spot on as well. So yeah, I already know with these particular fabrics, they stretch a little bit. Even though I starched them, they don't stretch so bad that you can't piece without putting interfacing on, because I didn't want to do that either. But they do stretch and they do fray. And so I'm trying to make sure that whatever's on the outside of my quilt definitely is not Crown Royal fabric, because I don't want it fraying the whole time. And it just frays sitting, not touching it, not using it, just sitting, it frays. It's the weirdest thing. But it's the cheaper bags doing that, not their the newer bags are doing that, not their old bags. So it's just very strange. Mona did what's here saying hi T and everyone. Will be lurking. My brother saying hi sis and everyone. Constance saying any advice for the beginner quilter. Basically just jump in. I would recommend, it depends on what, like, do you know your 1/4 inch seam? Are you comfortable with that? If not, I would recommend one way over, if you're comfortable with a 1/4 inch seam, over another way. My personal opinion is, if you are not comfortable with a 1/4 inch seam, then you can use any of these pre-layer cakes or charm packs. And then what I would do is just stack them in stacks of as many as I could cut at a time, say 5 or 6, and then I would just cut them into random things and make string blocks with them. I'd rearrange the pieces and then sew them back together randomly, and then just make a string quilt with them. Square everything up to whatever square you get based on how many cuts you make. If you are somebody that's comfortable with a 1/4 inch seam as a newbie, I wouldn't recommend doing that, because all of these charm packs are cut different. Some of them have the seam on the inside of the V, some have the seam on the outside of the V. I've measured some and they're bigger than 5 inches, and I measured others and they're smaller than 5 inches. I only use pre-cuts when I'm going to cut them into something else, cutting them down. Like, say I want to cut them into 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles, then I'll use something like that. I'm just not one of those people that trust what's been pre-cut for me, because I think that's part of our problem when we go to piece something together and then it's not pieced together. But basically, if you're cutting your own squares, then yes, you can just make a square quilt if you're comfortable with your 1/4 inch seam. Cut your own fabric. And if you are new, buy smaller pieces of fabric, and then you'll already be ready to make scrap quilts. You don't have to buy 3 yards. So you have a pattern that tells you you need 3 fabrics, red, white, and blue, and you need 3 yards of each. Well, buy 1/2 yard cuts of different 6 different fabrics or something like that, instead of just the one. Then that way you've got some variety in your piecing as you're doing it. It just depends on how you want to attack your quilting. Do you think you want to be a scrap quilter? Do you think you want to be a 3 fabric quilter? I mean, that's something too. I think most quilts, this is so unusual for me, but it's because I'm using the Crown Royal bags, but I'm a scrappy quilter. This is not something you see every day on the Teaquilts channel. A quilt that's using so far only 2 fabrics, Crown Royal bags and some purple grunge, and it's only going to have 1 more fabric, some gold grunge, very little. So you have to decide. I think you have to know where you are, because as a new quilter, it's really important that you spend your funds wisely, because it's so much stuff that has to be bought, and you only can do so much in a certain period of time. Well, most people, unless you got limitless funds. But you just have to be careful on what you're buying, how you're buying, and trying to get more bang for your buck when you're buying fabric. So when that scrap quilt pattern comes up, maybe you've got some fabric already. A lot of people tell me they don't have scraps. At one point, I'd sent out scrap bags to people a couple years ago. I was going through some of my stuff, and I just made up scrap boxes and bags and just mailed them to people that were new quilters. But I don't have any. Well, I do have scraps. I have not sorted through them to send any to anybody at this time. She's saying, oh, Stephanie, thank you, Stephanie. She's saying, I'm okay. Just continue to pray for me. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Thank you. Getting my feet back. My feel back for tricks and traps. Constance says, yes, I have my notions, fabric and new machine. I bought Joann's fabric for practice. Yes. And it's, you know, you'll have people telling you that you can't use any fabric from Joann's. I'm very selective in the fabric that I buy from Joann's, and I never buy Joann's premium quilt fabric because you can go to a quilt store and get it cheaper. Anytime you're paying $14.99 a yard for some premium quilt cotton, you can go to any quilting store and get a bigger selection for that price. Now, I have bought fabric that's $7.99 a yard or on sale for $6 a yard or $4 a yard, and I'm very selective though in what I'm buying, and that's something you're going to have to learn. A lot of, or some of Joann's fabrics can tend to be hard, and I don't want hard fabrics in my quilt top. And then she says my quilt fabrics will be used as I get better. Yeah. So yeah, I think I don't ever, I have fabric in my stash that came from Joann's. The one thing that you got comfort in knowing from Joann's, which is also a negative on why I hate Joann's, is that they tend to order the same fabric over and over. But if you ever run out, you can almost always go back and buy some more almost. Especially in the quilting department, it's like they tend to buy the same stuff or have the same stuff made. I think they have a company that's just making fabric just for them. It's kind of like Marshall Dry Goods in a way. You can get some good fabrics at Marshall Dry Goods, and then other ones will be hard. I've had some fabrics be soft in the same line, and then I go back and reorder it in a backing or reorder it in another color, and then that particular one is hard and I don't fully understand it, so I don't online order fabrics from Marshall Dry Goods. I have to go into Marshall Dry Goods and feel the fabric to know if I'm going to buy any of their Marshall Dry Goods brand of fabric. Yeah. Danielle says, whoever has limitless funds needs to adopt me, laughing aloud. You got that right. You know, some people do, you know, apparently there are a lot of people who have limitless funds, because every time you look up, they've got the top of the line sewing machines, and not one brand like Baby Lock, and then they'll go and buy the top of the line in a Bernina. And so they got top of the line in the Sergers. And they got all of this stuff set up. And I've seen it on YouTube channels. They go and buy all of this stuff. They buy exactly what they want, when they want, how they want. And so there are some people out here that don't have a budget. They just go and spend. Now, I can't say that I have a budget, but this is more of a business as far as what I'm doing. And so the fact that it's business is not the same as me buying personal. Just let me say that. I buy so that I don't have to pay taxes. I've already done my job. I've already got my Social Security set up. I've already, my funds are paid for Social Security, where I'm vested in the Social Security. I'm not receiving Social Security, but I've retired, so I get income from my retirement plan. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. So this is a business, and I'm not trying to pay more taxes. So that's why you see me spend. I'd rather spend my money for something that you all want to see over you spending your money and you've got limited funds and then it's not working out for you. And that's why I build my channel on letting people know the truth about products and companies, because I don't want you to be spending your money with somebody and then you have a problem and you go back for customer service and it's going to be a problem. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time. You can still, as an adult, go and make your own decisions and do whatever it is you want to do. But just know that I told you here first. When I try something out, I'll tell you if it's worth your money or not. Constance says she hits the sales. Sue says, still using scraps you gave me. I gave Sue a bag of scrap years ago. It seems like they never go away. And Constance says, me too. I'm on disability. See? It's like people don't have money. You have money where you can buy these things one time. You don't have money where you go, oh, I don't like that, and I can go try it 2 other times before I get to the right thing that I do like. No. Absolutely not. especially with me being left-handed. Like, I love Kai scissors, and the only left-handed scissors they have are their batting scissors, which is hanging on my long arm. And I have another pair that's right-handed, but I bought one smaller one just because I really like their scissors. But every time I go to their booth and I ask them, do you have any left-handed scissors? And they go, no, oh yeah, we got the batting scissors. I'm like, I already have them. It's like, you need to, if I'm going to spend $70 or whatever on a pair of good scissors, I want those scissors to be left-handed. I shouldn't be in pain and I'm paying $70. So I don't like that. So you know, and I tell you all that I love Kai, and I've told the people that represent them at the quilt places, and I try not to be like really vocal where other people were hearing me say that, but I'm like, you know what, I'm an avid believer in your company. I have a YouTube channel and I love your product, but I can't buy anything else unless I drop my batting scissors and break them or some kind of way. I can't buy anything else from your company because they're not left-handed. And then he told me that it was because they're made in Japan, and the people who make them in Japan will not make them for left-handed people. Crazy. It's just craziness. So, trying to see where I left off. My favorite fabric brand from Joann's Fabric is Keepsake Calico Cotton Fabric. And you still have to be careful with the line. Some of it is good. Excuse me. Some of it is good. And then some of it is not. And it's like, that's why I say I have to be touchy-feely with my fabric. Unpacking my stash, I didn't have many scraps, but always produced plenty with each product. Yeah. With each project, she produced many. Yeah. And I probably still got a few sewing things. I got rid of most of my sewing stuff to the girl that did the dog beds. But I still got like a few pieces. I got like some red wool that I really love, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to use it in clothes making or if I wanted to felt it and use it in quilting. So I've been holding on to some like of my specialty type fabrics that I have, something that I know I can do something different with. So yeah, but I haven't bought any clothing fabric since, other than the stuff that they send me when I'm purchasing African fabrics that should be 100% cotton. It comes back, it's a jersey knit. Yeah, I got a couple pieces of that. And Constance saying it's not a lot of fabric stores locally in Amarillo, Texas. I wouldn't know that. Constance says she's starting out with a Juki F300. Juki anything is good. Donnell is saying she'll be happy with it. Darcy says, my mom gave me a box of sewing supplies, and in it I found a manual for a Pincrest machine model 3400 and a lot of accessories for it. She doesn't know where all that came from. Judy says, my mom surprised me with a new Janome in 2006, and my other 5 machines are all pre-1973, way pre-70s. Yeah, and a lot of us, Sue, Kevin, I have a featherweight. A lot of us have featherweights, but a lot of people here have antique machines. I have maybe about 5 different antique type sewing machines. One Singer, I think. And that's not including like I have a single treadle. I have my grandmother's single clone that's in a stand. I don't even use those. It's just something that I wanted. But yeah, maybe that's what I'll do is I'll take my single treadle out to my she shed when I get it, and maybe and have it so that it's accessible. And then maybe I'll use it. I'll cover it since it's going to be outside. Well, outside, inside, but you know what I mean. I'll cover it with a drop cloth so that when I'm not using it, it doesn't collect excessive dust. But yeah, I think I might do that because I do want to use I want to learn how to use the single treadle. It's been a long time since I've tried it. I never was proficient at it. I just tried it to make sure that the machine was working. And then I even had the lady that sold it to me sit down and sew. I wanted to make sure I wasn't being had, you know. But that's cool. I wish I could find the machine. I just wish I could find the machine. I think it's very old. I think it's very old. Okay. I don't know. I have never heard of that machine. I like Joanne's fabric, especially novelties. Yep. Dee Dee says optional block drawing is next week. She's asking a question. Yes, it is. I have tomorrow to go to my guild and turn in for my guild, and then we always do the next Wednesday. Timmy Boyd here says, I just bought a Pro Stitch with the Gallant and don't have a clue what to do with it. Any suggestions? Just bought it today. Did you buy it from a store? They should be giving you some lessons. That's what I suggest. I don't have that machine. And if you didn't buy it from a store, say you bought a second hand, they should have had some manuals that were included with it. You're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to. I read my sewing machine manuals like a fiction book. I sit down and read it from beginning to end. And I'm not even at my sewing machine. I just prop my little self up in bed and I read it. I'm not concerned about going to my machine and looking at it and all of that kind of stuff. I just want to know, okay, I remember seeing that or having that word in my head somewhere. So I tend to read my books front to back. I do the same thing with my car manuals. I read them from front to back when I first get them so that if something come up, I go, oh, I think I can adjust that. And then you're going to have to go on YouTube and you're going to have to search for videos as well. And then you watch a few videos before you go to your machine because you don't want somebody to help you mess your machine up, okay? Make sure that the person that you're watching has quite a few videos about that machine, can walk you through one step to the next. For regular sewing machines, I do like Heirloom Creations. They tell you, they'll go through a sewing machine and go from every step that machine does from beginning to end. They got a video for it. They'll do 400 videos on one model of a sewing machine, and they do it over and over and over. So you're just going to have to find the best person that has the videos for your machine. So that's what and she said she bought it from a store. You should be receiving lessons if you bought your machine from a store. And if they didn't tell you that they were going to give you lessons, they are so wrong for that. But you need to contact them and ask them about lessons for that machine. They should be offering that. Anytime you buy a new sewing machine of any kind from a store, they should give you some lessons. That's terrible. Judy is a lefty too, but use right-handed tools mostly. Writing and hand sew is left only. I blame the nuns, right? Because I can do a 10-key calculator with my right hand, and then I can write all the answers down with the left. So I still use that. I use a mouse right-handed as well. I do that so I can keep my writing hand free. So, yep, I get an advantage every now and then. Sue has 45 vintage machines, including an 1889 treadle. If you need help with the treadle, let me know. Okay, so she's apparently know how to use hers, huh? Sue says the Pincrest machine is a Japanese clone made for JCPenney. Yeah, and that's why I said anytime you hear the off names of machines, because that's what my grandmother had, and do you do your research, you find out that they were a Singer clone. For some reason, around the time that the sewing machine came out, the USA government decided that we were going to send our stuff to China and Japan to help with international relations and all of that. And they sent machines to these people. And then those people went and started making clones and start selling their stuff, not just in their own countries, but selling it to the people in our country. And I think that was also one of the downfalls of Singer, because a lot of income was taken from them. And then when people started buying them and importing them into here, you know, the international trade laws they came out with, I think it damaged the Singer company as a whole. So yeah, terrible. Uh-oh, my comment section went crazy. But most of the ones that I saw were China clones. So I didn't know that Japan, I'm sure that they've done more than just China. So, but most of them were China clones when I was looking them up years ago. But Sue knows a whole lot more about antique machines than I do. Don says, I got a little wool pressing mat. I really like it. It doesn't have a bad smell when using it, so that's nice. And Tammy saying that she would contact the people that she bought it from. I just think it's rude for somebody to sell you a brand new sewing machine and not even give you or say anything about coming to get lessons, or do we need to go over this, or that's why when people were buying sewing machines, I tell you to go to more than one place and go in and leave your purse, your credit card, all your information, ID. Leave it in the car and tell them you ain't got it on you. You don't have to lie, but I don't have it on me. It can be out in the car. And don't buy a thing the first day you walk in there. Ask them all those particular questions before you spend your money, because once you spend your money, they're not going to want to give you your money back. Or if they do, they're going to tell you now it's a used machine, and then they're going to only want to give you a portion of your money back on the trade-in for something else. Know what it is that you want to do on your sewing machine. Do you want to do machine embroidery? Do you want to machine quilt with it? You need to do all of that and test all of that out before you buy your sewing machine. I think it's rude. People want to make a sale, and that's it. They don't care about customer service anymore. It's sad. Sad. Because if you'd have bought that machine from me like that as a business, I would be saying, I would tell you, you wouldn't have to ask me. You'll get lessons. We'll help you. If you have any trouble, come back. They got them sitting on the table. They don't use your machine to give lessons, but they'll use whatever display that they have to sell the machine to give you lessons. And it's not an open-ended lessons for life. It's just a certain period of time, but they should still go over that stuff with you. Betsy says, my mother-in-law had a Foff 130 from the 50s. It came with a nice cabinet and chair. That's pretty cool. I purchased my sewing machine from Sewing Machines Plus, so no lessons for me because they're in Southern California, and that's good too. I'm also an affiliate with them as well, so I do understand. That's why I asked, how did she buy her machine? Because it makes a difference. If you buying it from Sewing Machines Plus, and I bought my brother from Sewing Machine Plus. As I said, I'm an affiliate for them. I have never had any problems with them delivering major equipment to me. The way they package, it was double boxed. And so I didn't have any issues with any damages on my machine. The downside is you're not going to get lessons. That means you've got to go out and do the hard work. You've got to read the manual, and you've got to look for your own YouTube videos when the manual isn't making sense, or you need to see it up close and personal for yourself. So yeah. Elaine Doucette's here saying thumbs up. Peggy O'Connor saying hi, TNT Quilters. Hey Peggy, I don't know if you're back home yet, but she been out west having a good time. Hopefully you're home safe, so that's cool. And it's 8:02, so we're not going to be on here too much longer. I am going to go back and lay down. I can feel my little left side over here like resisting, but not as much as it been resisting, so I know I'm feeling better. I'm still inquiring about my last order from Sewing Machine Plus for Quilt Fest. Wow. Okay. I haven't had any problems with them, but I have had a couple people to say that they've had an issue with the customer service, but I've never had any issue with them. I think if you're having issue with them, probably go back to their website and go into a chat with somebody on the website. I think that can get you in a lot faster too. But that's gonna be it, guys. I am going to go chill, figure out what I'm gonna eat, maybe soup, and then I'm gonna prop myself up in bed and I'm gonna call it an evening, I think. So you all stay blessed, be safe, quilt out, and I'll see you Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for Sew and Chat. Bye.